Welcome to What's Your St. John's Story, a 30-minute segment sponsored by St. John's United, highlighting connectivity within our community through storytelling. I'm Rachel Simonson with the St. John's Foundation, and today we're talking about St. John's United at-home services and the program. It's a new way of keeping people in their own home, the place that they have always loved to call home. And we're talking today with Diane Jerhoff, an at-home member, and Summer Samsel, the at-home service coordinator.
Yeah.
So welcome to both of you. I'm going to start with Summer. Tell us a little bit about how you found St. John's, and then we'll talk briefly about what the at-home program is.
All right. Well, I found St. John's. My mom actually worked at St. John's when she was going to college. So when I was looking for a new place to work, she said it was a great place. So I checked it out, and it ended up being just what I needed, a family that has your back and has everything that you need.
And how long have you been working with the at-home program?
A little bit over a year.
All right. Well, we'll have you tell more about the program in just a minute.
Sounds good.
But I'd like to give Diane a chance to introduce herself. You're a familiar face within our Billings community.
Yeah,
but
I've been here for 60 plus years.
Absolutely.
It's a long time. Too long, but not long enough.
Yes.
And I have been with St. John's at home for 2 years and a couple of months.
All right.
And I've had a lot of different experiences with St. John's over many years. So that's kind of an interesting thing.
Yes, and I'm eager to learn your perspective on the value proposition of the at-home program.
Yeah.
And so let's give Summer a chance to talk a little bit about the at-home program for our viewers who may not know. At-home helps people in their own homes. St. John's is well known for providing services for older adults right on our many campuses. But this is new. This is a new way of delivering services. So tell us more about the program.
So, I mean, just as our mission, we provide a nurturing environment of hope, love, and dignity, but in the place that you call home. So whether that be your apartment or your house that you've lived in for 60-some years, that's where we like to help you out at. So.
And what kind of services does at-home offer?
It would be any service that you would get in a independent living home, and then we have some yard care, and if we're not able to do it ourselves, then we coordinate out to people that are able to help us with those services.
So it's things like maintenance,
Yep.
and housekeeping,
Yes.
meal services, grocery
Yes,
services,
groceries.
those sorts of things, and then companionship.
Yes, lots of companionship. That's what a lot of our members are needing right now, is a lot of companionship. So.
And it's not just companionship for the individual members. You have
No.
group events, and
Yes.
because you have a couple of different at-home groups
Yeah, like
as well.
Diane here, she's made a great companionship with one of another member that and probably would have never met if not for at
we
home.
wouldn't have met, and
So.
it's been great.
Isn't that amazing? So Diane, you're a fiercely independent woman, and
Fiercely.
independent. And something about the at-home program sparked an interest in you. Tell me what that was, and
Well,
what's your experience been?
I've been on the waiting list at Mission Ridge for about 5 years, but I wanted what I wanted. I wanted a larger unit, etc., lots of things. Well, they never have had what I needed. And I really, coming right down to the bottom line, I don't want to move. I don't really care if I'm at Mission Ridge. Not that, I mean, it's a wonderful place to be, but I'm a solitary person, even though I'm gregarious and outgoing. When I give so much of myself when I'm with people that when I'm at home, I don't get bored. I have activities. I have meditation. I'm thoughtful. I need to internalize. So this suited me fine. When the program was developed, I had them come out. Had Sarah and another woman come out and talk to me about it. But I wasn't ready at that time to sign up. And not long after that, maybe 3 or 4 months after that, I had severe spinal cord surgery in my neck, emergent right in the middle of COVID. And I was in the ICU for 5 days. I mean, it was a big deal, bigger than I'd expected. And so when it got time for me to be released from the hospital, there was nowhere for me to go. There were no rehabs available, and so I called and joined St. John's at Home from the hospital.
Okay.
Because I knew I would need it, and I knew that that was an opportune time for me. And they worked with my son, who was here from out of town, and my granddaughter, who was also here. They were here to support me, even though they couldn't see me because of COVID. They worked to coordinate my at-home program, and I had to wait in the hospital only 24 more hours to have a bed in St. John's Rehab, where I had been 2 previous times for other surgeries. So I was familiar with how good the rehab was, and that worked out very, very well. Really, I mean, very, very well. I was familiar, I knew people, I was comfortable, as comfortable as one can be after that kind of thing. But then I went home and I had aftercare, which I had 5 amputations 5 years ago, and I had St. John's, helped me through that rehab, and it was a whole summer.
Okay.
And so that part of the program I was familiar with.
So this really, for you, I would assume it gives you some peace of mind knowing that if you have a health emergency, you have access to caregivers.
I do, and I have a full panel of caregivers. I have a village of caregivers at the Billings Clinic, who, we have phone conferences and that kind of thing, but it's not quite the same. It's another way of supporting me. And we're going to give you an example. I had contracted COVID in October of this last year, and I'd been very careful. I'd been at home. I'd had all my shots. I was, have a lot of immune issues. But I got COVID, and it was, what are you going to do? Who are you going to call when I didn't know. I called Sarah at St. John's, and she came out and gave me the test, and yes, I did have COVID. So she masked up, and the next day took me to the clinic for the shots that you can get to lessen the involvement of your lungs. And at my age, that was very important. And so she would check in on me wearing full mask and garb, and until one of my other sons could come out and stay at the house. He'd been vaccinated and had COVID already. And he didn't come in the bedroom, but he brought me my meals. So I had... that was an emergent situation, and she was very, very helpful, and it gave my family peace. They could call her at any time and say, "How's Mother?"
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the mundane things that
There's a
Sarah
lot.
Summer is your service coordinator.
She is now. I have.
You've had a couple of them.
Yes, I have.
So I'm going to give Summer a chance to talk about some of the things that she does on a daily basis for her at-home members.
Oh. Man, that's a broad question. Every day is so different. But, I mean, we do everything from, clean window wells to go shopping to every once a month we have a luncheon where all of our members can come together and visit with each other and see each other and enjoy a lunch.
And you do some routine things around the house. You change light bulbs regularly. You when the time changes, you help people manage the clocks. Remote control management anymore.
Computer, a lot of tech help.
Yes. And there are some routine things that you do for people that I would never have thought about. Like cleaning,
like the preventative maintenance.
Like cleaning your bathroom fans.
Well, and like the window wells, that was preventative maintenance.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because a lot can go wrong with a house that you just don't think about getting in the corners like you used to get into them, and
you're not able
to get into those corners like you used to, and that's the service that you provide.
Yep.
And I think I saw whether you or one of the other service coordinators out on National Donut Day having coffee with one of the members at a local nursery coffee shop combination.
Yes.
So, how do you even call that a job?
I know, there's some hard work, but some that you just wouldn't even know it's your job. You just get to go and visit with these lovely people that teach you so much. So
yeah, that's half the fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for some of the larger things like snow removal and lawn maintenance, are you doing that yourself, or is that contracted out? How do you?
We have done it in the past, but now it's contracted out. It was just a lot for a couple people to take care of, you know,
Yeah.
so it is contracted out now. And that's why we're called service coordinators, because what we can't do, we'll find a way to get them done.
And Diane, no doubt you had some people who were on your payroll, no doubt,
I have
lawn
a
service
a
and the
crew.
like, a crew. You know, most people
My village.
accumulate a village as they grow a little older, and it's just, you know, I don't have the first clue how a lawnmower works, so without my husband, I would be contracting out
Well,
services.
I live in a townhome in an area where we have fees that we pay.
HOA.
So we have our lawns mowed and fertilized, and we have snow dealt with, and some spraying done. But then all of the individual flowers that I've planted in the last 28 years, and trees and landscaping that I've done, the association doesn't take care of that. So I've had to have people come and help me. I did it myself when I was working and playing golf on the weekends and doing the art. I mean, I loved all of that, but I can no longer keep it up. So I had people, and then they move away, and it's working out now that I'm coordinating with one of the at-home people to do that again. It's every time I have to change a person, it's like going through it all over again. But I'm more than willing to do that to get what I need.
Yes, and that's part of the value proposition, I think, of the at-home program is that it's a fair amount of stability with the service coordinators. There's a little turnover here and there, but yet the face of the program is the same all the time.
They have been very good about standing behind what the promises were. And I had special needs that I knew I needed. And so it's been coordinated, sometimes with a little difficulty, but not an extraordinary difficulty, getting the people that I need to come in and do what I need to have done. And it's essential that I have that to stay where I am.
Absolutely. And Sarah, I keep calling you Sarah, Summer. Sarah is the program manager.
Yep, you're not the only one, so.
Summer, the services, it's really an a la carte menu of services, but it's a monthly
Yep, it's a
fee
monthly fee
for service, and it's a little bit like being at the country club. You can you pay your fee, and you get out of it what you want out of it. You can go to
I hadn't thought of that.
the pool, the tennis courts. You can go eat. If you don't use any of those things, that's just
They're
that's
there.
just your choice. They're there when you do want them.
That's exactly
So
right.
that's exactly the concept.
Yeah.
And there is also an option to have access to the continuum of care at St. John's if that is important to someone as well. Is that correct?
Yes, and they get full access to everything at St. John's as well now, like the Mission Ridge, all their activities and everything, and they can go have lunch over there or whatever they would
We
like to
also
do.
have a membership at the gym.
Yep, and a membership at the gym.
And other things that I don't do, but there are other things that come along that I think, oh man, I'd really like to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really find intriguing the member events that you do. And you talked a little bit about having met somebody within the at-home program, another member, that you probably would never have met. You want to talk a
Absolutely.
little bit about how that has
Well, I
blossomed
met
into a
her
friendship?
at one of our events, and I immediately felt drawn to her. She's a very well-educated woman, very bright, and she's got an issue with her memory. And that's quite shocking when you're the most intelligent person in the room most of the time. And then you find out that this is an issue. And I just adore her sense of humor and her spontaneity, and her background is so diverse, the places she's been and the things that she's done. I would never have met her. And I find her a very meaningful friend and a hilarious human being. Anybody that makes me laugh or will laugh with me is number one in my book. And I just delight in seeing her. I do.
And you're able to get together once a month.
Well, we're getting together. I think I'm going to the concert tomorrow night, and I think she's going too. And I missed last week for a number of reasons, but we can get together at the lunch, and I'm going to work on getting together with our coordinator, and doing some other things. We did that with our last coordinator. We did some Sunday things, and when my life slows down a bit, because I don't want to let her down.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be a good friend.
So you've really formed a support network within the at-home program with the.
I'd like to be more supportive of more of the members too, because I have the skills, but I have to support myself right now, and it's taking up a little bit more of my energy than I anticipated.
Like they say, put your own oxygen mask on
That's
first.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
And but truly, they're lovely people, and I've been living alone for about 5 years, probably 5.5 years now. I've been widowed and some other things, and I love being alone. It's the first time in my life I've ever been alone. I mean, because I had children, and I don't want to sacrifice that, but I want to have the advantages of having the people that I want to see around when I want to see them or can get with, be with. So
absolutely. And you just returned from a cruise, and so
a Viking. It was a Viking cruise. It wasn't a great big super ship.
Nope, those nice smaller.
700 people on the cruise, and educational, and I had a handicapped room, which was delightful. And my granddaughter, who was getting her master's, MSW at UW, University of Washington, was with me.
Nice.
To be my person, and she got to do a lot on her own as well, and the food was incredible, and I would like to live on the ship forever.
But while you were gone, your home was unoccupied, but it wasn't unattended, was it?
No, it wasn't unattended.
So that's another benefit of the at-home service.
Yeah.
That they can check in on
They
mail.
can, and I didn't need to have that done because I have another woman that comes every morning
Okay.
for a few
Part
hours.
of your village.
Part of my village.
Yes.
4 years, I think. And she did a lot of things for me while I was gone, things that might not be time to do when I'm home.
Yes.
I take a lot of time,
Yeah.
high maintenance and all.
Absolutely. But Summer, that is one of the services that you offer, and that might be interesting for people who are snowbirds. Right?
Yes, and lots of people have cabins around here in the summertime, and we try to go at least once a week and make sure there's nothing crazy happening in the house, and get mail, and if water plants, the normal house. Yep,
Yeah,
change the lights.
Absolutely.
Yes, the normal housely duties.
Removing spiders and snakes
yes.
from people's homes, and
Yep.
you have the story of the snake that
We do, yeah. Last summer, actually,
Yeah,
or 2
2
summers
years
ago,
ago.
yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
We got a frantic call from one of our members that there was a snake in her house. And so we had to figure out a way to get it out. I mean, she can't live with a snake.
You should have called me. I've done that for one of the people in my homeowners association. I had to do that for her about 3 years ago. It was a big one.
Yeah. Big one. Oh. Well, and that's the beauty of St. John's, because
Yes.
I think the maintenance department came out
Yep.
and helped with that.
Yes,
Wow.
it's a big crew over there. So
That we laugh about it now, but it's a serious issue.
Yeah.
Well, it's traumatic
It's
for
traumatic.
the person who's invaded.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that completely.
and,
So those are some of the things. Summer, what are some of the other stories that you can think of that people might like to know about the at-home program?
I mean, we kind of grow to be just part of people's family. Like, I have a member that I go to all of her appointments with, and last time we were at her appointment, she said, "Oh yeah, this is my best friend. She can come in, of course." And I was, we just grow a bond because we try to have one point of contact that your services go through. So you really bond with the person that is working with you.
Absolutely. And then for families,
Yes.
many people in the at-home program might have family that are far-flung.
Yes.
And it really is peace of mind, I'm sure, for them that you're there and can communicate and be the liaison back to the family if needed.
Yes, that's a big part. Is lots of the people we take care of, their kids are retired or moved away, and it's just a good sake. Oh my goodness, it's good for them to know that somebody's there if something happened at the drop of a needle.
And they
safety
can
net.
call you to get a more
Yes.
accurate portrayal of how their parent is,
Yes.
parent or relative, because the parent or relative might not always be aware how they are.
That is very
You
true.
know, you're spot on there, because you're a very pragmatic individual. I think you would have a fair assessment of
how
your
I am.
own needs.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But as people age, sometimes they aren't able to assess.
Well, and they want to see, they see what they want to see. There's a little bit of denial in aging because you don't want to lose some of your independence.
Right.
And you don't want to ask for help more than you have to.
Right. And the at-home program through an organization like St. John's really does help maintain that independence for a longer period of time.
I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
And it seems to be working, you know. And I started, it was kind of new. I mean, it's still kind of new. But it seems to be meeting the goals that have been set for it. And I think that's exemplary. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And Summer, because the program is new, you've got 2 cohort groups of 12 members each. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you have a waiting list
Yep. we
building for
started a
the
waiting
3rd
list.
group.
Yes.
And there are just a few placements left on that
Yep.
waiting list, and then you can start a 3rd group.
We sure can. Yep. It's real close. We're getting there, but
And what that means is that another service
Yes.
coordinator can be hired, because there's a critical mass.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have too many people.
no, because then we couldn't meet their needs.
You couldn't meet their needs.
So
And you can't be too few, because it has to make economic sense.
That's right.
yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So, for those who are interested in learning more about the at-home program and perhaps taking advantage of those services, there are just a few spots left
Yep.
before the next group starts. So, how do they act on that?
So, of course, on the St. John's website, under services, it's at home, and then they can also give a call to our number, which is 655-7722, and that will connect you with Sarah, the leader of this, and she will get all the information you need.
Okay.
And if it is the wrong choice for you, then we'll get you to where you are needed.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So, Diane,
Yes.
our time is winding down here.
I sense that.
What would you say is the value proposition for you of the at-home program, ultimately?
The value proposition, in other words, what
What do you like most about?
Okay. You say value, I think money. I was a stockbroker for many years, and I did money. Okay. What I like most is I like the ability to make a phone call and talk something through, so that I can process what I need and how, not only get a solution, but just, do I need it? How do I need it? How are we going to do it? So that I have the ability to have another brain or two involved in the plan. And I also enjoy knowing that it's there, and that, like, going to an event, that I will be picked up and taken for their events. And in the winter, when it was really snowy and I wasn't stable walking, I loved having somebody take me to my medical appointments, but I never said she's coming in.
Sure.
I can handle it. But I liked knowing that I could arrange for rides to things that I needed to do when I wasn't comfortable, even though my car's winter worthy. What if I crashed into somebody and I couldn't get out with my prosthetic leg? I mean, it was, you know, so I've just enjoyed some of those features. And there have been also times when there's been organizational things that have been done. I've had one of the helpers come over, and they've organized a pantry or a closet. I mean, who can do that?
Right.
I can't. That's not my strength. So those are things that are available, you know, and I enjoy that. I really enjoy it.
And it just makes your life a little bit easier.
Well, and there's a lot of components to my life, and it does. It gives me peace of mind.
Fabulous. Well, in our remaining few minutes, like we do with all of our guests who visit us here, I'd like to ask you to reflect on what St. John's means to you. If I ran into you on the street and asked you, what is your St. John's story? How would you respond? I'm going to start with Summer.
I would probably tell you that it's really changed my life. It brought this great people into my life and great things I get to learn, and I think it's a fantastic organization. That's what I would say.
Fabulous. And Diane? What's your St. John story? You've interacted so much with St. John's.
I
over
have.
the years.
Well, just a clue. My husband and I used to have unwed mothers come and stay with us when our children were very young. So that goes back 55 years, 58, I mean, a long time. And so I have that aspect of the St. John's story in me, the adoption issues and the childbirthing issues and, all of that. And then I always went to the concerts on my bike when I could ride my bike. So there's just a whole history of that, and then through my church. And it's just one of those solid, stable things. I was delighted to know when they changed to St. John's United, and it became an encompassing umbrella of social services. So,
It really is.
it is.
We serve we call it the arc of life, from birth all the way to death.
And I've seen all of it.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. I think it's very necessary. And I wish that more people could have what we have with this. And it's not available to everybody because some people, it costs a little bit of money, and some people don't have that access.
Right.
And I wish they did.
Well, and that's the great beauty of my job. I get to work on
Making sure we
part of the equation. Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you both for taking time today to come and tell your St. John story about the at-home program. Summer, thank you for all the good work that you do for the at-home members. You're a great advocate for St. John's, a great advocate for the program, and just an overall asset to St. John's. And Diane, you're just a charming person to have in our midst. And we just have enjoyed over the years. I'm sure many people at St. John's have enjoyed interacting with you, and I know I certainly do as well.
I have them as well.
Absolutely. So if you are interested in the at-home program at St. John's, there are a couple of ways, again, to learn more about it. First of all, on our website, stjohnsunited.org, you just go to the services menu, pull it down, and at home is right there. Or you can reach Sarah Schroeffel, the program manager, at 406-655-7722. And we would encourage you to explore that and learn a little bit more about how St. John's can be a part of your life as well. So thanks again for watching today, and we'll see you next time on What's Your St. John's Story?
For generations, St. John's has united us with its uplifting vision and lives it has touched. There are thousands of stories about St. John's. Prayers answered for a long-awaited adoption, pain-free relief after healing from injury, settling into a new home for the next phase of life, the comfort of compassionate end-of-life care, the joy that comes from volunteering, and at-home help that supports the fullest life. At St. John's, we are creating community and bringing families together. We offer many services for home, health, and family, from childcare, support for an unplanned pregnancy, and physical therapy, to home health care, senior living services, and hospice care. For all times of life, we are here for you. The heartwarming stories of St. John's are woven into the fabric of our community. What's your St. John's story?